Okay, good. I want you to know I was that cute. Those of you who are still are young and cute, and enjoy it because it won't last that long.
I still fit pretty well.
And well, thank you. I feel a little decrepit, but
you look great.
I have the great privilege of speaking to a lot of young people. It's been one of the great gifts that the film has brought to me, that all of a sudden young people want me to come to their campuses and talk about, you know, what life was like during the gay Jurassic period. And I always tell them, because I remember when I realized that I was gay at a very early age, you know, before I really understood the implications, but one of the first things that I remember being told, and I know that those of you in the room that are my age will remember this, that, you know, a big part of the fear of being gay was the fear of getting old, and this idea that if you were gay, you would end up old and alone and useless. And so I always say to the young people, you know, I'm getting fat and my butt isn't what it used to be, and I'm wrinkled and I have jowls and badly dyed hair, but this was the best year of my life. You know, I've never had so much fun. I've never felt so privileged to be working with so many wonderful people. And my story really goes back to meeting Harvey Milk, just down the hill here, on the corner of Castro and 18th. I met Harvey, and everything that's happened to me since goes back to that chance encounter with this man who profoundly changed the way that I looked at the world. Because when I hitchhiked up here from Phoenix in 1973, I was fleeing the straight world. And even though my parents had raised me to you know, to have certain political beliefs and to oppose war and injustice and racism, I fled here to get away from straight people with a lot of hate and fear in my heart. I was one of the people that wanted to build a ghetto wall around this neighborhood down here because I was so frightened of straight people. And I think that's the basis of all of this hatred. We're frightened of each other. And it was Harvey who broke through that and took me with him to the senior centers for bingo night and the union halls. I remember building the coalition with the Teamsters around the Coors beer boycott, and on the way to the union hall saying, "To the Teamsters? Really? The Teamsters? You want me to go meet the Teamsters?" You know, we're either going to get the crap beat out of us or we're going to make history. And we made history because Harvey was fearless about crossing those boundaries and those borders. And so as much as my early years were all about sort of identity politics as a young gay man in this city during the time of really a sort of revolutionary period, I always knew that our struggle was a small part of a much larger struggle that has continued for generations in countries all across the world, where ordinary men and women and children work together to try to build a safer, more loving community. And to me, that's always what it has been about. And I want LGBT people to take their rightful place as equals among the ranks of all of these people who are ordinary folks and simply want their children to live in peace, to have opportunity, to not starve, to not be lost to unnecessary illness, and to resist the impulses that divide us and lead to war. So to me, that's always what it has been about. And today I work mostly with the labor movement, and it brings me a lot of joy because part of my job is to work with the very communities that we often agonize in the gay community about reaching. You know, we heard so much hand-wringing after this last election that we lost so, in my opinion, unnecessarily. I don't buy into this thing that the defeat was inevitable. I think that we really have to acknowledge that we failed to do some of the most important work. And I think that for white people in particular, when we approach these issues of race, you know, there's a lot of hand-wringing and agonizing over it. But really what it requires all of us is to just every day take those steps forward and in the way we live our lives. It's not about, you know, you are not required to solve racism today. But I think we are all required.
Get right on
it. We are all required to address it and to deal with it. And I think that, you know, in my work with the union, it's very exciting because I work for the Hotel Workers Union.